Life on a tropical island seems like paradise to many. Pristine sandy beaches, palm trees, a warm ocean, beautiful women, and no worries, just like in the famous Bounty chocolate bar commercial. However, the reality of island life can be far more mundane, even nightmarish, than the most pessimistic expectations. A prime example is the history of Pitcairn Island, which for over 2 centuries has witnessed all the hardships of life on a tiny patch of land lost in the Pacific Ocean. Pitcairn is the world's least populated country, home to only 49 people, yet its history is astonishingly rich. It was founded by the mutineers of the Bounty, who fled from British justice. The island later endured severe alcoholism and genocide, leaving only one man alive. Over time, this microstate was ruled by adventurers and madmen, and in 2004, it became infamous as the country with the highest percentage of convicted men in the world. Polynesians once lived here, but they died out on their own, without European intervention. In the 11th century, they established a settlement, brought domestic animals, and engaged in trade with Mangariva Island, 500 kilometers away. However, as obsidian supplies ran out, civil war broke out in Mangariva, and without trade, Pitcairn's society withered. By the time Europeans arrived, the Polynesians were already gone. Pitcairn's modern history began with the Bounty Mutiny. In 1787, Britain sent the ship to the Pacific on a mission to collect breadfruit. After losing its American colonies, the British sought ways to feed their Caribbean slaves, and breadfruit seemed like the perfect solution. However, the mission failed. Sailors grew too comfortable on Tahiti, where they were warmly welcomed, and the local women were exceptionally hospitable. Soon, a mutiny broke out on the ship. On April 28, 1789, the crew cast Captain Bligh and his loyalists adrift in a small boat and set course back to Tahiti. Some mutineers realized that British justice would not spare them and decided to hide on the uninhabited Pitcairn Island, led by Fletcher Christian. Those who stayed on Tahiti paid the price. Some were hanged, while others were sent to forced labor. The first years on Pitcairn seemed peaceful. In 1790, the island was settled by 9 European sailors, 6 Tahitian men, effectively slaves, and 12 Tahitian women. However, conflicts soon erupted, worsened by the appearance of homemade alcohol. One of the sailors, McCoy, learned to distill alcohol from the Thai plant root, plunging the island into drunken chaos. One day, in a drunken frenzy, McCoy bit off the ear of a woman named Tevarua, leading her to take her own life. This was the last straw. Tahitian men revolted and massacred nearly all the Europeans, sparing only 4. Soon after, the Tahitian women took their revenge and killed all their men. Of the remaining men, Young and Adams turned to religion, while Quintal became completely deranged and tried to kill the children, for which he was beaten to death. McCoy hanged himself, and Young died under mysterious circumstances. The only man left alive was Adams, who was forced to become the patriarch of Pitcairn. The island's history is filled with dictators and adventurers. After Christian, who drank himself into oblivion and abandoned his leadership, McCoy took over, a despot and an alcoholic. Then a group of survivors, including murderers and fanatics, ruled Pitcairn. Over time, the island repeatedly became a refuge for dubious individuals, and its dark reputation only grew. Also, check out this video about what goes on inside North Korean women's military life, or how one store clerk prevented the kidnapping of a 12-year-old girl.